Morning. Just going to wait here a few minutes to get allow folks to join us. Morning, Shadow Hunter. Morning, Jam. All right. Let's go ahead and bring up the risk disclosure here, guys. We'll start off with that. Okay. Good morning, Sergey. So just want to remind everyone that the content that's contained herein and distributed by the market trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. And an investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security should be used when trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is intended as an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten our, hey Frizu, now that we've gotten our risk disclosure out of the way here, guys, first order of business is to review the news, okay, and see what news we have in store for us today that would potentially impact the markets. Okay, so let's start with here. Okay, and let's bring this up, open this a little bit. All right, so we have the Case-Shiller report coming out here at 9 a.m. Eastern time. We have home sales, consumer confidence coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern, which could shake up the markets. And then we have at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have some 5-year note yield information coming out. And then the ultimate, I guess, would be today would be the FOMC meeting minutes coming in at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so fair amount of news throughout the day. Okay, that could impact the markets. Tomorrow is the granddaddy, I would say, of all news events here. We have GDP initial jobless claims, continuous jobless claims, pending home sales, EI crude. a lot of news tomorrow. Okay, a lot of news tomorrow. So yeah. So now that we have a kind of a view of what news holds for us, okay, and the timing of the news, let's go ahead and take a look at the markets here, and we'll go ahead and start with the market that we normally start with, and that's not the ES, but the gold market. Okay. So that's since that's technically open as we're discussing here. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with this market. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the daily chart. Okay, daily chart. So daily chart, we had pretty strong sell off, I would say, on the daily. Okay, that was supported by volume. Okay, yesterday. We had the negative DI exceed above the positive DI, and we're starting to see maybe a little bit of a sloping up of the ADX. Now, today, I don't know if this is maybe the gold here, just trying to kind of maybe reclaim itself here a little bit. Is it still black? Can you guys not see my screen? Is it better now? Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. So like I was saying here, guys, we are relatively strong sell off yesterday. We're kind of coming into potentially an area here where we might see a little bit of demand here. Okay, I can see here that we had a little bit of a reaction off of this area right here. Okay, right. What was once resistant? I'm looking at this area over here. What was once resistant is now becoming support here around 2610. Okay, 2610. So we'll have to see if that's going to create the momentum necessary for maybe another leg higher in this market, or are we going to break down this level and continue maybe revisit 2550, 25 maybe 60 level. Okay, so daily is, I would say, maybe I guess a little bit for me, kind of ranging. Okay, we've broken some structure to the downside. Okay, and now we are reacting again. We had a swing. We had a swing that went lower. We had a little bit of a rally, and now we're met with sellers again. Okay, so I have to say probably that we're kind of in the midst of maybe a little bit of a potential maybe bearish. Okay, or potentially ranging market here. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see that price is below our EMA here. That's also an indicator for me. This is the 233-day EMA. So we're below the 233 DMA. Our DI is above the positive. So that's, again, another indicator for us that there's a fair amount of selling going on. Our volume delta is kind of neutral. If anything, it's showing that there may be a little bit of interest here at these levels from buyers. Okay, our price is above our daily VWAP. Okay, but still remains below. Yeah, we have a weekly kickoff low at 2614. Yeah, so again, this is somewhat supportive. Okay, area here. Okay, so I do see that there was some prior support resistance here that is maybe turning a bit resistant, that's turning supportive. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and move into the 30-minute chart. All right, 30-minute chart. We have price is currently above our VWAP, but VWAP is not really offering us anything in the way of a consistent signal in either direction, right? Our VWAP is sloping. It's kind of flat. Okay, And as a result of the flatness of the VWAP, we're getting price kind of, moving above and below it. Okay. We'd like to get to a place where our VWAP is sloping, so that we can really use VWAP to support our reference levels, to support execution on trades, right? So as you get a sloping VWAP down, notice how we get reversals away from VWAP. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our fixed range volume profile. Let's locate the start of the day on Monday, and let's drag that across. I suspect that we're probably in some sort of range here. Okay. Maybe as a result of the news. Maybe but we are indeed inside value, okay, in this market. And for now, our initial balance range is pretty narrow here. Let's see if I can get the right. I was playing with this yesterday to accommodate some other reviews I was doing here. All right, so we have a very, very narrow, currently a very narrow initial balance range. Okay, so again, that could be an indication that there's a fair number of people waiting for some sort of news event, right? And we discussed that we have some news events later today. We have the FOMC minutes. We have coming in at 2 p.m. today. So maybe that's what's kind of holding up gold from making any significant moves right now. Okay, so very, very, very narrow initial balance range inside an area of value, which is kind of an indication of range or balance in the market. Okay, so we want to be, I guess, somewhat patient here with this market. Okay, we want to let the price or participants tell us which direction they want to take this market. So I'm going to wait for this initial balance range to establish. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchored VWAP here at the low of London here and see that that's also above, right? So we have the daily VWAP, we have the anchored VWAP, all above, or price is above both those levels. I'm going to go ahead and turn on settlement. We're also above settlement. So really the only thing that the fact that is kind of keeping me from saying really bullish is the fact that we are inside balance. Okay. So we could see a lot of overlapping price action at in this market. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and add our levels to this chart. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and locate my levels. We'll populate these into the chart here. Okay. That I'll be looking at and looking for in this market. Okay. So let's see. We'll got this over here. All right. So these are the levels that I'm tracking in this market. Okay. There's our levels. All right. We'll just kind of do a little bit of a spot check here on them. We have our value area high coming in at 26.48.10 or 40. We got value area low coming in at 26.16. Value area, was it 26.16 or 2600? Let's see. We got 26.20. Okay, so we'll modify that. 26.20. Value area low. Okay. And then our point of control at 26.35. Okay, we'll leave it that. And we'll add our ADR here. ADR coming in at 26.49. And then our average daily range low coming in at around 2600, 2603. Okay. We'll go ahead and open up the average session range. We'll take a peek here at London. Okay, so we're right at London levels. Okay, at what was that, 26.32? Okay, and then we have 25. Is that 25.96.6 on the low end? Okay, so this will probably adjust here as the New York session opens up here. But as far as hypos, I guess we are up against the level here. I would probably like to wait for price to make a definitive move outside of initial balance. If you believe London, okay, then the market could potentially continue higher. Oftentimes London and New York kind of play this little cat and mouse game. Okay. Yeah, that's just to tell you that I'm live, uh, Veronica. Okay. Oh, that's just to tell and let people know that I'm live. Okay. All right. So often London and New York play a little bit of a cat and mouse session. What London brings up, the U.S. market brings down, and this would be kind of a logical level for that to happen. Okay. So we are seeing some evidence that higher prices was rejected here with this selling wick. We have a developing candle here that is turning out to be relatively bearish, or quite bearish, I should say. And yeah, so we could easily see a kind of full rotation back to the lows of London. Okay, assuming that we are able to break below initial balance low, anchored VWAP. Okay, that could give us the impetus that we need for a potential full rotation down to, say, 26.17 from current levels. Okay. All right. Let's see if there's anything else I want to add to this. Yeah. So that would say that was probably my, I guess my first hypo here is maybe we could see maybe a rotation of price to come back down to these lower levels. Okay. Before we make any reversal back higher. Okay. All right. See anything else here? Any other clues that I'm seeing here? I'm seeing the positive DI get above, but the momentum indicator is really not giving me a strong signal to the upside. Okay. So yeah, I would say that right now we're probably looking at maybe a potential, sell off, I guess, in gold. All right. Not sell off, but maybe a slightly a move down to maybe to the lows of London. Okay. I'm going to be kind of monitoring this particular candle here to see how it closes. And if it does indeed close as it is now, quite bearish, and we get a break below, then I would be interested in something where I see a break below and a retest of that same level, and then a continuation move, something along those lines. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market, since I'm not seeing any questions other than what the dollar sign line means. So we'll go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. Now, crude oil market looks like it might be developing a little bit of kind of bullish kind of price action here a little bit, but let's take a first look here at the daily chart. Okay, and see what the daily chart is telling us. Daily chart is looks a bit rangy to me. Okay, so you can see here that price has been of late has been kind of contained into this kind of rectangular box here, right? We'll have a lot of overlapping price up and down. No real trend in any one direction. Okay, now if anything, if you had to pick a trend, if you look to the left, well, we've been sloping down, but of late it's been a bit rangy. Okay, a bit rangy. Now, what I do notice is that I do see that price is kind of not made its normal rotation down to the other edge here. Okay, it's created a little bit of a demand zone here on the daily chart around, let's say 68.50. Okay. So 68.50 seems to be an area of interest. Okay. In this market. All right. If it manages to hold this level, right? What time does oil IB form? Initial balance, it gets formed between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so the initial balance range has not begun yet. Okay. All right. So daily is beginning to show some signs that maybe there is a little bit of demand here coming in the gold market. We'll have to see how this candle closes. How this candle closes at the end of the day, but nonetheless, it's developing a little bit of a bullish candle there. Okay. Looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, so you see here that we're seeing a little bit of kind of a 3-bar kind of reversal pattern here, right? We have our candle here. We're starting to maybe pick up a little bit of momentum to the upside. Now, price still remains below our VWAP, not VWAP, but our 233-day EMA, which is our gold line here. And then we have price above our daily VWAP, okay? And we still do not have our positive DI above, although the negative DI seems to be losing a little bit of steam here, okay? So 4-hour also showing signs of bullish price action, okay? We did get a reversal of that zone that I drew in earlier on the daily, okay? And we're starting to see a series of candles that are making, basically breaking the prior candle here. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the 30-minute chart. This is where I start to do a little bit of volume analysis here. Okay. You can see that price is really hugging this 233-day EMA. We're kind of in this kind of wedge pattern. You can see that we're developing higher highs and higher lows of late. Okay. Obviously, the more significant level is this level up here at 71.20. Okay. But we are making, I guess still we're making some higher highs and higher lows. Okay. As long as price stays above daily VWAP, my view on this market is to the upside. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw in my fixed range volume profile. All right. And we're going to locate the 9 a.m. bar from yesterday. Again, don't look at too much into my charts because I am from the my charts are set to Pacific time zone because that's where I'm at. But I talk in Eastern time. Okay. So from 9 a.m. all the way to 4:30 is where I set my volume profile. Okay. And you can see that volume is currently inside this value area. Okay. Which again indicates that there's really not any one direction at this point. That price is kind of in balance, right? In value. Okay. And really, really not in any sort of significant trend one way or the other. Okay. All right, so we have our value range. Our initial balance is going to open up here in about 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add our levels to this market. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add our levels to the chart. Okay, here we are. Okay, there are our levels. So we have our value area high coming in at what is that? 69.83. Here's what I got. 69.79. And then on the value area low side, I have 68.86. That seems to be checking out. We have our point of control at 68.93. Okay. And the only thing that remains for me is to really add ADR. Okay. There's our ADR, average daily range. Okay. And then the other item that I want to add here is our ASR, and that's right there. Okay, so these are our ranges. Okay, so we're actually quite close to our average daily and average session range. Okay, so these areas here could provide maybe a potential area for price to reverse away from. Okay, these are logical areas for me to look for price reversals. Okay, something like this. Okay, or maybe is higher up here. Okay, these are kind of locations that I would be looking for maybe a potential move in that opposite direction. Okay. Now, if price does break above and hold, then I can use those same levels that I'm currently communicating as resistance as support. Okay. So right now, I would say, even though we're seeing some bullish price action, I do see that that we are still inside this swing to the downside. So I feel like there's still maybe some downside opportunities in the crude oil market. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchor VWAP for London here. There it is. Okay, so price is right up just above the anchor VWAP. Okay, from London. Okay, so if price begins to close below anchor VWAP and daily VWAP, then I would be interested in a short trade down to this demand zone, or ASR or ADR low. Okay, which is a good chunk of distance away from the market. Okay, now if we manage to close above this EMA, stay above some of these levels that I mentioned on anchor VWAP and daily VWAP, then I have to think that we have some more upside opportunities in this market. The only thing that's maybe causing me a bit of caution here is that I have value area high. I also have ADR high and ASR high that could impede that progress. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the crude oil market. Just kind of checking chat here to see if there's any questions on anything that I've said so far. So for now, I'm kind of heading into the market thinking maybe a bit more bearish move, looking for maybe a bearish move in the crude oil market. But I need price to begin to break some structure to the downside, price structure to the downside, in order for me to begin to embrace that. Okay. If we remain hugging this average daily range, then my view is probably incorrect and will continue higher. Otherwise, I'm going to see price get below these levels and then provide me maybe an opportunity to get back down to the start of London and maybe beyond. Okay. All right. So that's what I have for crude oil. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the equity markets. But before I do, I'm going to give my little plug for the channel here, and encourage you guys to if what I'm sharing with you supports your analysis of the markets, don't be hesitant to hit the like button. Okay. If you are not a subscriber and would like to be alerted of these kind of sessions in the future, again, don't hesitate to subscribe. Okay. Again, the like buttons are kind of the lifeblood for content providers like myself. Okay. We get some preferred rankings and things of that nature. So all right, let's move on to the equities. Okay, and the equity of choice for everyone, I'm sure, is anxious to hear about what's going to happen with the Nasdaq today. All right, now we do have FOMC minutes today. We have still some news that is coming our way here in the next hour or two, so we have to be alert of that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of start our kind of review, kind of top down here, and take a look at what the market is trying to accomplish here. Well, the market, as you're looking from left to right, the market is trying to achieve higher pricing. Okay, we really haven't broken any significant structure to the downside, right? This 20,000 level seems to be intact. We still are holding above 21,000 or 21 20. No, I'm not holding 21,000. we're holding above this 20,750 level, okay, and rapidly approaching to 21,000, okay. All right, so again, from a daily perspective, we're seeing that price is kind of pushing higher, okay. For our chart, okay, similar kind of view here. We're starting to make a series of higher highs and higher lows. I guess the word of caution for me is I still see this swing low that we made here, okay, but we continue to grind higher, okay. I would feel a lot more comfortable in this move to the upside if we were above, say, 21,300, okay. The fact that we're inside this swing here leads me to believe that there might be a time where sellers could step into this market. Okay, all right. Right now, what I can say is that our price is above our 233-day EMA, which is something we care about. Price is also above our average daily range, which is also an indication of bullish price action. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the 30-minute chart. We'll do some volume analysis and arrive at our levels here. Okay. So again, we see that price is above our daily and EMA here. We're going to go ahead and locate London here and draw in our anchored VWAP. Okay. So there it be. Okay. So price is above our anchor VWAP. Everything is pointing to further upside move in the market here at the moment. Okay. I do see that price has broken a level here. All right, to the upside. All right. So that obviously is also supporting us of further price action to the upside. Obviously, this level here around 21,000 could be an area where we could see some resistance. All right, this is an area where I could see price stall. Okay, but now that we've kind of cleared this area, I don't really see any reason why we don't reach it, right, from current levels. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the 30. Let's go ahead and add my fixed range volume profile here. And let's see. We'll go ahead and locate the start of Monday. All right, 9:30, and we'll drag that across to 4:30. Okay, so here we are, kind of flirting with value area high here. Okay, looks like we're trying to get above value area high, which would be again another indication that there is, continued bullish price action to the upside. Okay, let's go ahead and add our ADR. Okay, ADR still have a good distance above, and then we have let's see, ADR. Okay, kind of hesitant to add ASR, but I will. Okay, so there's our ASR level. So ASR on the London side, which has a little bit of overlap on our supply area that we drew there. Okay. So those are just a few areas of maybe areas where we could see price stall and potentially reverse these areas in red. Okay. And let's go ahead and add our levels for this market. Okay. So go ahead and do that. We'll add these here. All right. So these are our levels that we're going to be watching. We're about 25 minutes away from the market opening here. So initial balance is not something that we can kind of draw in at the moment. Good morning, George. Okay. So yeah, so let's double check some of these levels here. We have value area high coming in at 20,936. Actually, it seems like it's a little bit higher than that. 20,000. This looks more like let's see here, 20,942. So I'll just modify that a little bit. 942 is our value area high. Value area low is coming in at 20,841. Okay, so I'll modify that too. It's like a little. Okay, and then our point of control is 20,876. That's also off. Looks like 20,855. That seems to be more in line with what I'm seeing. And then settlement is coming in at 20,899. Okay. All right. So like I said, right now it appears that the market wants to continue higher. Our job is to figure out a location where we can participate without feeling like we're overpaying. Okay. So I'm going to be waiting for this initial balance range to establish. If price does close above this value range, this could also serve as an area for me to look to take an execution right off the top of value area high. That would be a logical place for me to take an execution to the upside. Okay. Another location obviously is our anchored VWAP and our daily VWAP. Anywhere in this area here would be a good place to potentially take an execution. Now, with that said, now that we're trying to attempt to get above this value area high, I do not want to see price come back inside value. If it does come back inside value, that could be an indication that we could get a reversal in price. Okay, that we could explore the entire range. Okay, of value here. Okay, all right. So right now, I would say that there's still some upside to this market. We're gonna wait till this market opens up here in about 20 or so minutes and see. Okay, but I see that price is trying to make trying to get above value. I do see that we have more buyers than sellers on our volume delta. I see that our positive DI is above our negative, and we're starting to see a little bit of a sloping ADX. So yeah, everything is pointing to higher prices here in the NASDAQ. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and move on to, unless there's any questions on NASDAQ, we're going to go ahead and move on to the ES. Okay. So ES, you're welcome, Frizu. Okay. Thanks, RA. All right. So taking a look at this, okay, on the daily level. So here we are. We have a gap, that I guess has kind of been revisited. Okay, on the daily chart, looks like this is again a continuation move. I see a lot of wicks on the bottom end of these channels, indicating that there's a fair amount of momentum or fair amount of interest to continued move to the upside. Okay, so nothing here indicating that there is any sort of trade to the downside. Okay, I'd like to see price get below maybe our daily VWAP and our anchor VWAP before I even entertain anything along those lines. Right now, it does appear that we could continue to see some upside momentum. Okay, for our chart. For our chart, again, we continue to make our series of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, we are making a little staircase higher. Right, we have a rather impressive bullish candle here. Okay, excellent, Zunid. I'm glad to hear that. So we have a nice developing bullish candle here. We have nothing really telling us, nothing to support us on the volume side for this move, which is a little bit of a concern, right? It's a concern because it could probably easily reverse on us. Okay. So this candle is not really, supported, at least by volume at the moment. The positive DI is looking like it wants to make an attempt to get above, but we've been kind of rotating in and out of this positive DI, negative DI situation. Okay, so let's move on to the 30-minute chart. We can do a little bit of analysis here. I'm glad to hear that, Ricky. Congratulations on passing your combine. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we'll go ahead and do some fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and locate the 930 bar from yesterday. Okay. Drag that across to the close. Okay. So similar to our NASDAQ, right? We see that price is attempting to get above value area high, which is bullish. Okay. So, and we are above our daily VWAP. Now, next order of business for me is to add our anchor VWAP, and I like to add our anchor VWAP right around London. Again, that's another secondary indicator that tells us, sort of market sentiment. And again, price is above both anchor VWAP and daily VWAP and settlement and value, and is working to get above value area high. So everything seems to be pointing to some higher prices in the ES here. Okay, we'll go ahead and add our levels to this chart. Okay, we'll add levels to this chart here, and there we are. There are our levels. We're just going to spot check some of these. We got value area high at 60.1950. We got our value area low at 59.97. We got our point of control here at looks like 6,002, 6,004 range, somewhere in that range. I'll modify that to 2. Okay. And settlement is at 60.12.75. Okay. We'll go ahead and add our ADRs well above us. We have our ASR also coming up to it on the from the London perspective. So yeah. So again, okay. All right. So yeah. So again, my view continues to be that there is some more upside potential opportunity in the ES. We are coming up on an area where we could see maybe a little bit of a pullback. Okay, at which point maybe it'll continue to rally. All right. If price does manage to close inside value, then we could see a full rotation of value. Okay, here. All right. That's another possibility if you're not a believer of the current up move. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anything else that I should be calling out here or mentioning? Volume delta seems to be rising. We're getting more and more buy volume. That's again another indication of upside. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have for the ES. We're going to go ahead and move on to the last market we'll review, unless there's questions. And that is the Dow. Okay, so the Dow, it's not at highs. We're looking at lowers. This might be a little bit of a divergence here. Okay, so we're seeing all the other indices where it was developing some bullish kind of price action. Now, I will say that the Dow managed to get above this area of prior resistance. Okay, and now it's currently developing a candle that is bearish. Right? I say developing because this is a daily chart. Okay. Our positive is still above our negative. Okay. So indicating that there's still, positive bias, I guess, to this market. Okay. But, and then our ADX is also aligned. The only thing, I guess, a little bit of concern would be that we have more selling than buying. Okay. So if I was a buyer, I wouldn't necessarily not necessarily comfortable seeing this. Okay. There seems to be more interest on the sell side than there is on the buy side at the moment. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. So we're kind of in this kind of pattern here, a horizontal pattern. We have a developing 4-hour kind of engulfing pattern here that's developing on the bearish side. We're starting to see a little uptick on the negative DI. That our positive DI is beginning to wane here a little bit. So the Dow, out of the three markets, look to be the weakest at this point. Okay, out of the three markets that equity markets we've reviewed, the Dow seems to be the weakest of the three. Okay, 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart. Okay, there's our average daily ranges, and as session ranges, we're going to go ahead and locate our fixed range volume profile tool and locate what our value range is. I suspect either we're on the bottom end of it or in the middle. Okay, so we'll see what that says. And there we are. So yeah, we've actually exceeded it to the downside. Okay, so we have our value area low here. All right, value area low, and we've exceeded it to the downside. So for me, all-time high is 30 points above. Yeah. For me, if this area might be an area that could serve as an area for a potential continuation move to the downside. If we do manage to close back inside, then I would say that we have a good chance of creating a full rotation of value. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add my anchored VWAP here above. All right. And let's see. This is certainly a definitive pivot here during London. Okay. So you see that price is below both daily and anchor VWAP, developing a little bit of a 3-bar reversal pattern in an area where you would expect to see it. Okay, if I'm a buyer, okay, right. This is an area where you would expect to see some sort of interest. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and add some levels here, guys. We're going to go ahead and extend some of these lines. We're going to go ahead this line, extend that line. We're going to extend this line here, and then we're going to extend this line right here and make that red. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and add some of these levels, shall we? So we have 44,875. That is our value area high. 44,754 is our value area low. We have what is that? 44,602, 44,602 as our ASR low. See up on the top here, we have what looks like 45,000. Okay, 45,000 as our ASR high. Okay, so 45,000 as our ASR high. Okay. And then point of control is 44,804. 44,804 is our point of control. All right. So yeah, so some levels that I'll be tracking in this market. Okay, guys, like I said, it'll be interesting for me to see how price behaves around value area low. Okay. If price does indeed come into value, we could see a full rotation of price through value. Okay, back up to settlement price. Okay, so yeah, I think that's pretty much what I'm seeing in the market, guys. So, and I'm happy to entertain any questions right now. Like I said, the YM appears to be the weakest of the three, but it's probably at a nice location. As far as maybe taking an opportunity to the upside. Okay, I feel like I don't have to take all that much risk to take a bullish trade in this market because it's coming off of an area where I see some support here. Okay. All right. See. Yeah, definitely nice support here, right? So if this candle manages to close the way it is, then there's obviously, yeah, not too much in the way of of uh, of risk that we need to take to support this. Okay. The only caveat that I will make here is that we are below value. Okay. And as long as we stay below value, then this scenario could play out here, right? We can come up to value and reverse away from it and continue our move down. Okay. But as far as a risk reward location, this doesn't look too bad to me. Okay. All right. I think that's it, guys. I managed to get through these markets in record time, maybe because I actually started on time this time. But happy to entertain any questions, guys. I have a few minutes here to entertain any questions about anything, any of the markets that we've reviewed. Again, guys, don't be afraid to hit the like buttons if what I shared with you does resonate with your and support you in your analysis of the markets. Okay. As I mentioned, and I've been mentioning here last few days, starting in December, this particular review will be behind a member wall. Okay. You will need to be a member in order to view these live sessions. So I would encourage you, if you're not already a subscriber, to go ahead and make yourself one, because I will be rewarding or saying thank you to those who have stood by me and with a little bit of a price break on the membership there. Okay. So if you're not currently a subscriber, that's another a little added bonus there for you, to encourage you to do so. I will be again moving this particular review and other reviews like it behind a membership channel. Okay. All right. I think that's it for me, guys. Again, I'll be inside the coach's room here for about an hour or so, entertaining any questions and evaluating the markets and supporting our analysis of the markets. And then we'll have our normal coaches session here later this afternoon. So yeah, that's it, I think, for me. So I would leave you with the following: trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining. And I will see you in one of those areas I mentioned earlier, either in the Discord server in Coach's Ray's room, or in group coaching later this afternoon. Okay. Until then, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Yes, absolutely, Tracy. Hit that like button. Okay. And I'll see you in Discord. All right. Talk to you then.